60 to 90% of cloud migration projects fail, stall, or don't meet their intended business objectives. That is crazy numbers, according to our industry analysts. So say we're meeting in the middle and, 3 of 4 cloud migration projects fail. How come we've never heard about them? We hear all of these success stories, but we've never heard about the majority of failures. Does anyone else feel like that's weird? So today we're going to talk about what's actually going on in industry via some stats, and then I'm going to take you through a few high profile but anonymous cloud migration failure case studies. We're going to talk about the tactics in which you can pull out of these to avoid. The reason they have to stay anonymous is because NDAs lock these things up tighter than witness protection. That's the whole point of this channel, is to bring those to light. We don't need the company, we've got the industry, we've got the issues, but we need to be able to talk about how these cloud migrations are sold as this business silver bullet, but actually are a secret disaster. And as always, it doesn't matter what I say, you guys. It matters what we're experiencing in actual businesses. So I invite you to share what you've seen happening in the comments. The only way we're even going to have a remote chance of creating change around this is talking about it and businesses being able to be effectively prepared for these types of projects. According to industry analysts, we have 75% of cloud migration projects going completely over budget and 38% fail to hit their timeline at all. And here's the absolutely wildest part of this whole thing. 74% of enterprises end up reversing their migration within 2 years because high subscription costs, performance issues, or security problems left them worse off than they were with their legacy on-prem or whatever they were working with beforehand. So what are the issues of these quote-unquote failures? Integration issues, huge. They hit 38% of these companies. They can't integrate with their current tech. Security misconfigurations cause about 70% of all breaches. 1 in 4 businesses actually admit they don't have the skills to migrate in the first place, so they blindly trust vendors, consultants, etc. And the big one, 84% of businesses run into performance issues because of data quality that they didn't catch before they move, a lot of times because these vendors are trying to get you on that system to get paid as fast as possible. Large migrations, these massive enterprise level lift and shifts, are failing at 50% higher than these smaller incremental migrations. So most importantly, what does this cost? Like, what does this actually mean? So just think about it this way. In a cloud migration, any minute of downtime equates to, on average, $5,600. These disruptions regularly last a full day or more. So say we just use simple math from that average. If your system's down for 8 hours, that's $2.7 million in just downtime, not to mention any sort of lost revenue opportunity. So now that we kind of have the current state, we understand why this is a massive issue. Let's talk about an actual case study. The one I'm going to go through is a national retailer here in the States that had a Black Friday cloud migration disaster that cost them over $15 million. And the reason I'm going to go through this one now is not because I can tell you who it is, right? It's because we're in the time of year right now where vendors are going to start to add that pressure to get you to migrate because they want to meet that year-end quotas, right? So they're going to do stupid shit like give you a bunch of discounts and throw a bunch of stuff at you. Do not lose focus. A rushed implementation and migration are going to cost you way more than the real price, which they're still going to give you the discount after the first of the year. This national retail giant decided to move from its legacy e-commerce platform to the cloud 2 weeks before Black Friday. I feel like Black Friday is just an American thing, so if you don't know what that is, in 2024, Black Friday measured a whopping $75 billion in the US on online sales. It's a massive retail holiday. So they rushed to implement this thinking they're creating a better customer experience and they're going to be able to leverage the performance of their cloud platform. However, it had just the opposite effect. So take out the extra pressure and stress of this timeline, which is insane just in general, but they had a ton of really technical integration issues. For a retailer this size, you're not just dealing with one platform when we're looking at e-commerce sales. Payment gateways, inventory sync tools, a lot of other things, security issues that are involved in this, those were not reconfigured for their new cloud architecture. So obviously when traffic surged, they broke. The platform couldn't handle this traffic surge, so the cart broke. The checkout transactions weren't completed. Thousands of customers abandoned their cart mid-transaction. So the estimated direct loss was 15 million in sales, but not to mention the customer perception and also just the brand damage from people not thinking that they can functionally buy from this retailer was much, much more. So what can we learn from all of these things combined? First of all and foremost, this is your migration. Do not let anyone pressure you into a timeline by promising all of these different things. Every business has different integrations, right? Just like our DNA is different as human beings, as a species, that's how you need to see these integrations. They need to be stress tested, especially if you have a high volume business time like Black Friday. And this is why when you work with partners, you have to ensure all of those fancy logos on their slide decks are your version and your industry. They need to prove that they have done this before. I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. Before you talk to any cloud vendor, make sure that your risk assessment is done. You need to understand where the openings are. Don't let the vendors fill that in for you. If you are a large multi-billion-dollar business, you are going to have to sign NDAs. But the thing that you can do is ensure you understand your contractual safeguards. I don't care what size of business you are. You need to know your escalation path. What happens when shit hits the fan, my friend? Are you going to be here with me, or are you going to ghost me and I'm not going to have your number to call when I'm in trouble? You need to see that signing these NDAs are a fundamental risk to your business, so you need to align internally to ensure you understand what your risks are, what your readiness plan is, what your governance looks like, and know that that is going to look totally different from people that you meet at industry conferences. Can you use the same process? Maybe, but there's going to be a significant risk to your unique business. You need to have the maturity and the in-house competencies to understand what that is. If you're going to migrate, awesome. You know what? Good for you. Just know that the risks are real and the consequences are expensive. The majority fail. So respect that risk.